So it is game one for the Indiana Fever, and I'm not going to lie, they are trolling us a little bit by putting Damiris Dantas here. It's a little bit of trolling, we have to admit, by putting Damiris Dantas on the cover photo for this. That is, I will consider that trolling. Harmless trolling, sure, absolutely trolling. Because Damiris Dantas is someone that probably should not be on this team. Especially when there are significantly better players that have just been waived by other teams that they can get on a minimum. Damiris Dantas, I don't know, maybe. Maybe she'll remember that she's remembered that she's Damiris Dantas from Brazil and not the Damiris Dantas that played in the WNBA last year. Just maybe. But the Indiana Fever, one thing they have done, because if you guys didn't see, this is the preseason game. Like, this is them walking out onto the floor with 8:29 to go in quarter two. This is not at the end of the game. Look at the crowd. I've never seen a Fever game this empty. I watched the game and I'm like, this is half empty. Like, people are still watching TV, this Indiana Fever team play on TV. But the reason why, like, if you look back at 2024 clips, especially early on or even late on the year, the Indiana Fever crowd were crazy. They were crazy. Because you had a lot of screaming kids, you had a lot of families, you had a lot of, like, a dad bringing his 4 daughters and them having the time of their lives, and whole groups of kids going with a parent and losing their minds at everything that's going on. Like, if you listen to the crowd when Erica Wheeler, I'm just going to get it here, when Caitlin Clark got a pass off Erica Wheeler, when you listen to that crowd, and by the way, they were selling out preseason games that year. Albeit, again, it was Caitlin Clark's rookie year, so it's a little bit different. But, like, just listen to this crowd. Listen to this crowd right here. It's crazy.
Bonner gets denied by Boston. Wheeler finds Clark from the logo.
Like, the Fever crowd has not been the same since. Why has it not been the same since? Because the Indiana Fever are pricing out fans. This is what happens in a lot of sports when a team gets big. So, this is something that, as a football fan or soccer fan in the States, it's a really common thing. So, if you look at Manchester United, they used to have an incredible fans at Old Trafford. Fans can't afford to go to Old Trafford anymore. They do everything they can to cancel people's season tickets. And with a long season ticket waiting list, they make sure that anyone does anything wrong, they'll cancel their season tickets. So, basically, tourists will pay more for the games than locals. It's not the Manchester's. I know Manchester would be a fairly wealthy enough area, but as a Leeds United fan, that's what everyone fears. With the way prices are going up and tourist fans, and Leeds make the FA Cup semi-final, and a bunch of people bought tickets on resale for $700-800. They've never been to a Leeds game, and the atmosphere wasn't good. Whereas cheaper tickets, you get crazies. Like, if you go to EuroLeague, if EuroLeague started charging €100 a ticket for games, you wouldn't see the crazy fans. And that's what's happened to the Fever now, is they are barely selling out games. They were barely selling out games, and they really struggled. And by the way, they literally had to. They had to lower the price of tickets to sell out the game. They had to lower the price of tickets to sell out the game, and almost said they gave the players huge raises. They were just testing to see what they could get away with the higher ticket price. It didn't work. I mean, by huge raises, it's, in the grand scheme of things, not a lot of money. If you're the Indiana Fever, you are making a lot of money. It's not a lot. Paying $7 million salary cap instead of $1.5 million in the grand scheme of things is not a lot of money. When Caitlin Clark herself generates $30 million for your team, But that is the problem. And a lot of people are going to blame the not exciting basketball. And while the game itself wasn't exciting last year, there's something exciting about I'm not going to say team of, you know what, I'll use the word, I don't mean this in a derogatory way, I'll use the word misfits. A bunch of people that were deemed surplus to requirements by other teams, some of them being cut by teams that genuinely sucked. And coming together as hardship players and dragging themselves nearly to the finals. Like, that's a great underdog story. And the fans still weren't willing to pay for it. Because it was just overpriced. Everything became overpriced. The Fever Games became a luxury event. And what was happening was the Fever weren't outpricing people in 2024, but people were buying tickets and then reselling the tickets. So then, in the last year, they've tried to push their retail prices up to the resale prices, and people just don't want to buy them. People don't want to buy them anymore because even though you assume Caitlin's playing 40 games, there's no guarantee of that. And also, I'm sorry, people don't have as much money as they did 2 years ago. They don't, for a lot of reasons. People don't have as much money as they did 2 years ago. The World Cup's happening. WNBA is not the most relevant thing in sports anymore. And the Indiana Fever are absolutely losing their home crowd. They are losing their home crowd. And I do think when it comes down to it in games, they're still going to average a really, really high attendance. And their away attendance is going to be really high because Caitlin Clark does not show up anywhere more than twice. No matter where you are, you will still show up at away games to see Caitlin Clark play. That is a fact. You are still going to show up to see Caitlin Clark play away games. So their away attendance is still going to be really good. The problem is that Caitlin Clark plays 40 times at home. And it's now at the stage where, with inflated prices, fans aren't not even fans. The type of fans that are going to these games and that can afford to go to these games is very different. It's now a case where it's like people coming to Indiana for a day trip are the only ones that can afford it. And that is bad for home court. What you need are the 12, 13, 14-year-olds excited and will go crazy. What you don't need is a tourist who will clap and occasionally shout defense. You need some sort of hostile crowd. You need people that are going to cheer, and the easiest way to lose all that is by pricing out the quote-unquote real fans. That's the easiest way you lose that. And you can have expensive ticket prices and still have that, but you got to be in San Fran where they're all fucking millionaires. But yeah. Anyway, that is pretty much it, lads. I will see you guys.